Hello, kia ora, g'day. I'm Philip Duncan from Weather Watch TV on YouTube with your Australia-only forecast for the first week of September. Let's have a look and see what's going on as we kick off with the Monday afternoon animated wind map. Look at the high pressure zone. This massive anticyclone over the Great Australian Bight stretches all the way out to the New South Wales coastline, goes up to the top of the Northern Territory, right across to the coastal side of Western Australia and down over the Southern Ocean. So that is a really big area of high pressure. Drives in a bit of a cooler airflow for many of you along the eastern side for now, or at least the southeastern side. But if you're around Tasmania, Bass Strait, those windy westerlies, they continue. Hopefully not as strong as they've been though over the weekend. So because of that high pressure zone, as it tracks eastwards over New South Wales here on Tuesday, quite strong, 1030 hectopascals, that means that behind it, the warmer northerly winds come through. And so a little bit of a breezy to windy northerly flow from Western Australia through to South Australia, sort of stops around about where you come into about Adelaide, because therefore you're underneath the high pressure zone, so not as windy. Not as windy over Tasmania, but that westerly carries on. The rain still falls along the western side, and there's a bit of an easterly breeze through Queensland into the Northern Territory, and then that's the one that turns around as a northerly once you come into Western Australia. By Wednesday, we see a few more showers forming in the southwestern corner of Western Australia. Plenty of coastal showers for Queensland as well, coming in with that easterly breeze on the top of that high pressure zone. And at the bottom end of the high pressure zone, west to northwest winds, they carry on for Tasmania, hopefully not as intense, but the northwesterly wind is quite brisk around parts of South Australia. That will help lift up your temperatures further as we go through the middle of the week. Speaking of temperatures, we come through to Thursday and there is a temperature drop over here in the southwestern corner of Western Australia. Perth, southwards will be feeling that as we go through the day. Rainfall totals anywhere from 5 to about 15 millimetres. Some of you might get a little more than that, but that's the current thinking. Most of it there just in that southwest corner, but a few showers go right up the western coastline to about the halfway mark. We've also got this line here of convergence. We talked about this on our Friday video. It's shifted a little bit further around, maybe a little bit further south, but this could see a little line of showers tracking along the southern side of Australia. And that leads us towards Tasmania, where the westerly winds blow. There'll be more rain on the western side and the northwestern corner. All right, going through to the end of the week. So the high pressure zone is now out over the Tasman Island, Lord Howe Island, over the Tasman Sea, I should say, Lord Howe Island, Norfolk Island, underneath that big ridge of high pressure. And then south of it, kind of being blocked by that high pressure zone, there's that line of wet weather. So it's mostly in the coastal parts of South Australia and Victoria, and then it feeds straight into Tasmania where that cold front comes in. So as that cold front comes into Tassie, the rainfall totals lift right up, 30, 40 millimetres coming for some of you, maybe even a little bit more than that, depending on exactly where you are. Southwesterly winds carry on with showers for the southwestern corner of Western Australia, and the only other area getting plenty of showers, the eastern coastal parts of Queensland, well north of the Sunshine Coast and Brisbane. And going through to Saturday, it stays fairly quiet around Brisbane. There's not a lot happening there. High pressure pretty much nearby. Norfolk Island, Lord Howe Island, most of New South Wales looking dry. But from about Sydney southwards, that's where you'll start to see those showers. Rain forming here around the hills and ranges, and really actually along the border between New South Wales and Victoria. That is that line of convergence, that sort of stuck area of wet weather tracking along. So that is some good news, because sometimes it can be stalling itself. That lifts up your rainfall totals. And I know some of you need rain, especially into parts of New South Wales. So as we go into the weekend, or through the weekend, our final map here on Sunday shows wet weather falling around New South Wales, around the Blue Hills, Blue Mountains, I should say, coming in towards Sydney a little bit, although it's borderline in this area. The hills and ranges will break the rain bands up. And so it may not be quite so straightforward as sort of a burst of rain coming through, but there is a windy south to southwesterly flow. Temperatures will start to drop. There might be a dusting of snow again on the highest points of Tassie. And if you're in Melbourne, you'll certainly feel the temperature dropping on Sunday. On the other side, we've got high pressure coming back into Western Australia, so just a few coastal showers there to the south. It's windier the further up you go for Western Australia as that easterly flow carries on, bit of convergence, so we might be seeing a few welcome showers. Dry places like Uluru up towards Alice Springs, seeing some of that rain falling, and some of those showers could be quite heavy, but this far out, I don't want to lock it in too much. All right, that is all from me. We'll be back again on Thursday. We'll take a closer look at what is going on around the country, especially rain-wise. And just one last feature, as that high tracks along, it'll be interesting to see what happens behind all of that, because we're now going into that middle part of September once we get to that point, and that means, well, that's the technical part of spring, really. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, because we've seen this early spring pattern arrive here in the southeastern corner in particular, but also the southwestern corner. So let's just see what happens in our next update. We'll see you again on Thursday.